Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan, and look, it's Austin, the Day Ghost.
On.
And tonight, Austin has kidnapped me at Mop Point to force me to review yet another Toxic Avenger film. And I say yet another. We've only done the one on Superhero Rewind. It made me very uncomfortable going back to that movie. And there's like three more, and I've never seen them.
Yeah, three more to go. I'm excited.
Plus this. Now we've got five.
Yeah, it's true, because eventually we'll have to do this on Rewind. You're right.
And this is a
I didn't even
movie
think about that.
that you were worried for the longest time would basically get Zaslaved, that we would never end up seeing this thing, that it would be on a shelf forever because it could not find distribution.
Yeah, well, it's funny. So after I saw it, I just Googled it to see like how well it was doing critically, because I know they showed it at some film festival and it had like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for like 2 years.
Yep.
But I was like, I wonder how much that dropped by, now that it's like fully out. And I just put in the Toxic Avenger, and the first thing that came up under suggestions was, "Will the Toxic Avenger ever come out?"
Yeah, I saw that too on a Google search. What is it on Rotten Tomatoes now? Like 80 something still, or
83.
yeah.
Yeah, so it still held pretty well.
So that is respectable now that a bunch of critics have actually seen it.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I was shocked when that had like a screening and it was 100%.
And well, it was at something called Fantastic Fest. I assume they play a lot of these kinds of movies there.
That's
So
true. It
like
might be like critics that are like more, this is the type of stuff they're into.
probably more into more underground horror stuff and things that the mainstream would consider trashy. So like I would
Mhm,
assume there's a particular standard there.
mhm,
Not to be snooty about it, but just these things are in categories certainly.
mhm. Oh, absolutely. I mean, uh, I don't know if you had this when you saw it, because you mentioned to me the new Mortal Kombat trailer, and I didn't get that. But they played the trailer for the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night that I think comes out this year,
Yeah, I saw
and
that
that's like
too.
the entire advertising for that. It's like, we put out this trashy movie, so now here's this trashy movie, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun.
I got trailers for two Silent things. There was that, and then the new Silent Hill movie.
Oh yes, I forgot that they're making that. Yeah.
And what was really weird is they played the same. It was like watching TV. They played the same trailer twice. I've never seen that with like another trailer in between, and it was the
Yeah.
precise same trailer. It looked like a mistake. And if they
I
paid
had
for the advertising for that to happen twice, at least cut a slightly different trailer. It's very strange.
I had that with oh my god, was the Drew Goddard movie? Bad Times at the El Royale. I saw a movie and they played I think six trailers for that specifically between other trailers, where they did 45-second like ads for each character and then played like the trailer at the end of it, but they used a lot of the same footage, and all the 45-second ones had like the same ending, and like as it was going, I was like, "Oh my god, I will not see this movie on principle." Like, I'm getting so annoyed about this.
That's
I have seen that
hilarious.
movie. It ended up good, but that was rough.
Yeah, and I think there was only one mainstream like blockbuster kind of movie that was advertised before this at my screening. I can't remember what it was, but I was surprised to see anything like normal expensive Hollywood film.
Yeah, I guess it probably just was Mortal
What
Kombat.
was it? I can't. No,
Uh,
it was something even more mainstream than
oh,
that, and I can't remember what it
oh,
was.
okay.
But anyway, I can't
Mhm.
remember now. Mortal Kombat was weird because that trailer still has the October date. Like it just got pushed back to next summer a couple of days ago, but they're still playing the
Mhm.
trailer that says October 24th,
Yeah, yeah, they got to get on that. I guess it's testing well, so they're like pushing it to like a busier
which
season.
is
Like
probably
this is,
smart.
big blockbuster,
They're
probably.
worried it won't make any money in October, and they're probably right about that.
Yes, I think they moved it to like May.
They might be right. It's hard to say because we wouldn't have as much competition in October, but there also might not be as many eyes on it. And they're probably thinking, "Oh, we didn't make it clear enough this was coming out. They've only got 2 months to advertise it now." And so
Mhm.
Like they just weren't smart enough to talk
Yeah.
about it earlier. That seems like more of the issue.
No, because I feel like I haven't heard anything about that. Like I keep forgetting that it's coming out this year.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I hadn't seen it. I didn't even know Carl Urban was in it. I knew that they would finally do Johnny Cage, but
Yeah, they cast him a while ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird casting." But I don't know. He looks fine. It looks very much like they went, "Oh, The Boys is big. Like,
yeah.
let's get him to do that here."
Well,
So
and
whether that works or
he's
not,
the
we'll
Eisen
see.
character. It looks like an introduction to that world. Like it looks like there's no
Mhm.
reason to watch the first movie. It looks like the film they
Well,
should
and
have
it's the
made in the first
tournament,
place. Say again.
and it's the tournament.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I
Because
will
they
never understand why they didn't do that.
no,
In the
that felt like a
first movie.
prequel. And then, well, it felt like your. We'll get to Toxic Avenger. It felt like your typical. Your character's not allowed to actually be your character until the end of the movie. Except they did it with this, with the concept.
Yeah, I know, it's so weird.
The idea of Mortal Kombat won't be there until the end. Joe there in the
We
comments
gotta build that.
says he got no trailers. He says they just put on the movie and bam, wow, a good thing you weren't late.
I kind of
then.
wondered if that would happen because
So did I.
I have seen that happen.
Particularly with independent films.
Yeah, exactly. But they all like exclusively. I guess I'm not sure who put out that Silent Hill film. That might be an exception. But it was like exclusively just the studio that like Cineverse
Oh
or
wow.
whatever was like all the trailers I saw.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. So, like I said, this is a movie that could not find distribution. I guess it was just too controversial, too gory, and I guess every studio was just afraid to offend people. It's the same kind of problem that Lloyd Kaufman had all the way back in the day. Like, some things just never change, Austin. He couldn't.
Well, and
He
it's
couldn't get
funny
anybody to
'cause-
show that movie, and he can't get anybody to show this movie, and it is still unrated. Like we are
Yeah.
45 years later, and it is still, or 40 years later, it is still unrated.
Yeah, well, I think Legendary is like a production company on this, which is weird.
Yeah, I
too, 'cause
know,
it's like an actual studio.
It was strange seeing
but,
that. Yeah.
Like this, no one would pick this up. Like I was shocked that like Shudder didn't pick this up, like anything like that.
Well,
And when
Bloody and Disgusting was listed there, and I've at least heard of that.
Well, they're like a website, like a fanzine type, like that kind of.
Oh, is that what that
like,
is?
website. Yeah, like,
I couldn't
know that
okay.
they make movies.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I couldn't remember what they did.
No, it would be like if it was like I don't know, like CBR.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But when Terrifier 3
Well,
came out, I was like, that's
I don't
crazy.
I don't want to get political or anything. CBR was not going to have their name in front of this.
No. But when Terrifier 3 came out, I was like, how can this get a release, but the Toxic Avenger can't? And then it was that studio that put that out was the one that picked this up. So ultimately, I'm very thankful.
The only chance they were going to have. Could you see Blumhouse backing a thing like this?
I don't know that they do just distribution.
I guess not. I guess they always make their own stuff.
But I could be wrong.
If they did, let's say you go back to the beginning and they were looking for money to make it in the first place. Could you see Blumhouse getting on board with a thing like this? Because this seems a little far outside of their wheelhouse to me.
I was gonna say I feel like this is too weird for what they make. Like I feel like you'd have like Jason Blum and people kind of looking down and being like, what is this?
Probably so. Unless they went a little bit less, I'm not sure what the right word is, not grindhouse, but like a little less like, gore fest with it. If they went somewhat more mainstream and sold it a little harder as like a horror film with a superhero bent, like maybe they could get that made. Because I mean, they're making Spawn. Like if it didn't have as much of the outlandish absurdist humor, like maybe
And set it all inside a house and have no lighting. And that's the first studio note from Blumhouse.
The entire movie is lit by Toxie's eye.
There you go. There you go.
That's it. That's all you can see the whole movie. It might as well just be a floating eyeball.
Make it very blue. Toxic Avenger shouldn't be green. He should be blue.
So well, that'll be the sequel. They'll put him in underwater. They'll do like an underwater version. They'll do like the
Oh,
Aquaman
there you go.
Toxic Avenger. It's like the sewage got into the water and it mutated like somebody that drowned.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go.
This stuff just writes itself. Like this evil corporate businessman from this movie, who's played by Kevin Bacon. He like has been dumping all of his toxic waste. He's got all this extra toxic waste nobody knows about. He's been dumping it into the river, like behind his factory. And there's this guy that was fishing, and he just his boat capsized because of all of the toxic waste, and then he drowned, and then he got turned into the Aqua Toxic Avenger. This stuff writes
and
itself.
It'll be like the new Wolfman, where there's like no prosthetics. Like he's got like a little scar, but outside of that, he just looks like a guy.
Then you do a third movie. This will be the trilogy where we send a rocket into space with all the toxic sewage, trying to get, like, there's so much of it, we're trying to get it off the planet, and then that mutates a Martian.
Oh, okay.
See, and then you have like Space Toxic Avenger. This is not hard. And then eventually you have the Toxic Crusaders movie that is all of these Toxic Avengers on a team.
But I just have to also point out, when it goes into space, it lands on the moon where that Martian is living, and he just lives in a regular house, and the set is just the house. But every now and then you see out the window and you're in space.
No, that's the Blumhouse version.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Sorry, I guess I lost.
I lost the plot somewhere. I guess these were all our Blumhouse pitches. I was kind of just pitching sequels to this at some point.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah. I lost.
No, that was on me. I completely lost the plot on that. But anyway, apologies. Let's go ahead and finally get into thanks for joining us if you're watching live. Appreciate that. Thanks for watching after the fact. If you're doing that instead, as always, we're going to do our sign flips and talk somewhat non-spoilery, real minor spoilers, and then we'll get into heavy spoiler territory. Austin, I'm not going to have like a gigantic amount to say about this one unless we find ourselves just rolling in a bunch of interesting details come back to me, but this is one that would be really easy for me to do straight up non-spoiler, but we will have some spoilers for people that have seen the movie and or haven't but don't mind spoilers and want us to talk more specific details when we get into that. In the title for tonight's stream, I did call this Toxic Avenger 2025, which is a bit of a misnomer because it was first shown in 2023, and I'm seeing kind of conflicting things online where some people refer to it as Toxic Avenger 23 and others as Toxic Avenger 25 because it technically was first seen in 23 and that's when it should have released, but just so that nobody got confused. I in my title said 25, but
yeah, that's always a debate I see. I always land on when it's actually released. Like, I don't care if it was shown to like 8 people at a festival earlier. Like, this is when it was actually released. Like, this is when the majority of people got to see it. It's a 2025 movie.
Yeah, I agree with that, but this one's a little bit weird because of how late it came out and because it still hasn't gotten wide distribution. Like, this is only a limited, I mean, relatively wide, like, it's in a lot of cities. Multiple theaters here were playing it, but only for, I'm glad I live in as much of a metropolitan area as I do, because we have several theaters and we get everything. So sometimes you'll be like, oh, we didn't get this movie I wanted to see. And I always feel bad because I'll look that movie up and like 3 theaters are playing it. But this one was, it's only playing through like Wednesday. Like, if I hadn't seen it today when I did, we probably wouldn't be reviewing it.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know it was playing near me. Like, I was like, I'm going to have to drive, like, at least an hour to see it. And then the day before it was supposed to come out, suddenly my theater started showing screenings. And I was like, oh, I guess we're getting it.
Well, that's really lucky, because I know you were really excited about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. No, I've been stoked, because I've been waiting 2 years. And then
you used to complain it out. You used to complain all the time about it, where you'd be like, and you'd be like, this thing came out, but we still can't get Toxic Avenger. I felt like every couple of weeks I would hear something from you about the Toxic Avenger remake and how we're never going to see the damn thing.
No, and then they were like, "We're finally putting it out," and they put it out on my birthday. So I was like, "Oh, it." They just put it out for me. Thank you.
It came out the
They've been hearing me
same.
bitch for so
It
long.
came out the same day as we released the superhero Rewind movie. So we released my movie, and Austin was in the comments. He's in my movie. He was in the comments for the public premiere for a while, and then he had to leave to go see the Toxic Avenger movie.
Mhm. Yeah, and we'll get into that because there is a big thing that both movies have in common that's very strange.
It's just bizarre. What are the odds? And I don't want to spend too much time talking about my movie while we're reviewing another movie. And even with what this is, still a more like mainstream release than the thing I made. Mine didn't even go into a movie theater. We showed it at a coffee shop, but there is a really weird thing they have in common that we will have to get into. Austin, give us a quick synopsis for the new Toxic Avenger, which is not, I should say, a scene by scene remake of the original. It does have certainly a lot of things in common, and it's got to redo uh, some of the major like iconography and stuff. And there's one place where it specifically feels the need to do a similar scene and location from the first scene, almost making fun of remakes, doing the scene to scene or shot for shot thing. But this is its own original story.
Hmm. Yeah, to the point where your main character's not even the same person.
He's got a
Uh,
different name.
so, mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Now there
Completely
is a
different
Melvin
background.
in the movie, but he's not
Yes.
that character at all.
Hmm. Yeah, even and I was kind of surprised because we like kind of do Tromaville, but it's not. The town isn't Tromaville; it's Saint Roma's, and but every time we see a sign of it, it's always like faded, so it just says Tromaville. So it's like, oh, you like kind of have that, but like not exactly. But yeah,
They're
so
kind of clever
this
with it. They
movie,
they call it Saint Roma,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then there's a dot, there's a T, and then if you're in the know, if you know anything, it's obviously supposed to be trauma. And then later they have the Saint Roma uh, festival, and then they fade it out enough so that it says Trauma Fest.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, every time it's on a sign, it's always faded out, so it just says Tromaville or like Trauma Fest, like something like that. It's pretty fun. But yeah, so this movie it stars Peter Dinklage as Winston, and he is our Toxic Avenger, and he is a stepfather who his girlfriend died, and now he's taking care of her son, and they're kind of at odds because he's not really his father, and like they have that kind of a relationship. And then you also have another character, and I'm actually blanking on her name, but she is an activist, and she has this evidence of wrongdoing that Kevin Bacon, who is Bozo from the original, um, his company is uh, like a healthcare kind of like medicine company, and it's got all this toxic waste, and they're dumping it into the lake, and everybody in the area is getting cancer. And she's got evidence of this, and she's gonna, expose him for what he's doing. And he's also in with the mob too. And through shenanigans, Winston, Winston, who gets sick and can't get treatment through his company plan because he's on the wrong tier, he ends up with this activist and gets kind of caught up in her story, and gets killed by a band that is like a mix of multiple different bands, including like ICP and Guar, and they kill Winston, throw him in toxic goo. He becomes the Toxic Avenger, and now it is a battle to stop Kevin Bacon's character, both for revenge and to save the town.
And his last name is reflective of the fact that he'll turn into Toxic Avenger because he's what is it? Was it Guzman or something?
I think it's Goose. Yeah,
Or
like
Goo. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just
maybe Goose.
Winston Goose. You gotta have ooze. The secret of the goose.
Exactly. The secret of the Goose is that you become Toxie.
That was one of your best synopses ever, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That
Well,
felt
I hit a certain point and I
well
realized I didn't
rehearsed.
mention any of Winston like getting sick. I was like, oh, I gotta like double back on that. But
Yeah, no, that's important. Yeah, there's some honest to god drama that I was not expecting.
yeah, I was talking to Noah on our Discord, and he was saying that like the first half hour, he was like, "Oh, this is like an actual movie." Like
Yeah,
I didn't realize I was coming into this.
yeah, it's a real movie. It's kind of surprising. It gets more into your trauma farcical territory as it goes along. There's always a little bit of that sprinkled in here and there, but sometimes I had to remind myself that I was even watching a comedy, which I was kind of
Oh,
surprised
sure.
by. I had whole scenes where something very silly and unbelievable would happen, and I was kind of jarred back into what it was I was watching. Which we'll get into it when we do sign flips, but that was a double edged sword for me. But I want to hear from you first, Austin.
Hmm.
Go ahead and give us
Yeah.
your sign flip best thing, worst thing. How did you feel about the Toxic Avenger 2023/2025?
Well, I'm definitely cool with being more in suspense of what your opinion is because I have no idea which way you're gonna land. Like from the moment I watched it, I was like, I could see him appreciating it more because there's like a bit more heart than there is in the original, but also like this kind of thing's still not his bag. I have no idea how you're
Well,
gonna land
I
on
know you're
this.
more excited to talk about this than I am, so I wanted to just
Yeah,
let you kind of go, and I didn't want to
yeah,
like steal any of your stuff from you. So I wanted you to get to go first because this is more your thing.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, like I said, this is a big movie I was waiting for, and it like really delivered for me. Uh, I really liked this. I think it's got some of that slapstick stuff that I kind of complained about with the Naked Gun remake for not including, where I'm like, oh, I feel like I have more of that balance that I wanted in terms of comedy. And then I also did not expect it to have as much drama and kind of heart to it as it does. And for best thing, worst thing, so best thing I will give to uh, Dinklage and Louisa Guerrera, I think is her name. She's the one that's in the Toxic Avenger suit. I think both of them do a good job, like feeling like the same person, and I think Dinklage, especially like when he's just himself at the beginning, does a great job in just playing everything straight. He's a good straight man for like for the comedy and never kind of winks and nods at everything and I thought that really worked. Uh, let's see. As for worst thing, worst thing I'm gonna give to like it's got an over reliance on CGI blood, and I kind of wish that there was less of that and more just practical work for that. Uh, but that's just kind of movies now. But overall, I am feeling it. I like this movie a lot. I probably like it more than any of the sequels, but I probably at the same time like the original more. But I don't know that you can make a movie that I like more than the original in this series just out of like pure charm and just kind of made by the skin of their teeth kind of feeling.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard not to give the edge to the original with a thing because it came up with a concept in the first place. So like you're already at a
Yeah,
disadvantage
exactly.
in being a remake and having to retool an original idea to a modern audience.
No, I had a moment watching this, and this is a compliment, but I remember when the Evil Dead remake came out, Bruce Campbell was like, "Look, we made this like original one on like a shoestring budget, like it was just a bunch of college guys, goofing out in the woods. Uh, just doing it now with money, it's inherently better." And I kind of had that moment where I was like, "Oh, I kind of get what he was saying," because I don't have that with the Evil Dead remake. But with this, I was like, "Okay, I can kind of see where he was coming from with that." Where it's like, uh, as a movie, as a production, it's so much above that original movie. But you know, I I don't know that I can, in my heart of hearts, say that I like it more. And it's also funny because the lead actress from the Evil Dead remake has a voice cameo where she's the insurance lady, which I did not know until I was looking up who was in the
Oh,
Toxic
that's
Avenger suit.
funny.
Yeah.
That's one of the better gags in the movie too.
Yeah, that part's really funny.
That's pretty good.
But how did you feel, Cap?
Okay, well, I guess I will use that to segue just immediately into my best thing with this, Austin, and say, even though it's maybe a bit of a gimme to the point you just made, that of course this is going to look better than the original. Like even if you made it with almost no money, just the technology is so much cheaper now in cameras, in lighting, in effects, and everything that if you even sort of know what you're doing, it's not hard to make a better overall looking movie than that movie. Now, you go back to that, there's still really impressive prosthetics and stuff. I'm not taking away anything from what was impressive about that original movie. I don't like sitting through that movie. It's not my thing. It makes me uncomfortable. But and we talked about this when we did the rewind commentary on it. What's interesting about the Toxic Avenger for me is the way they made it, is the behind the scenes, is how hard that was to accomplish, and I have a lot of respect for what they went through with that. I don't understand why anybody wanted to make exactly that project, but I have a lot of respect for them in pulling that thing together. My best thing is just overall production value. As much as it's that is something of a gimme. This is made on $2 million, and I don't know how it didn't cost any more than that. It looks spectacular. I was just constantly impressed with lighting effects and with cinematography choices and with especially costume work. They thought the Toxic Avenger suit through to the very last detail, and they just wanted that to look like as cool and as memorable as possible. The thing lights up with a black light now. It's so freaking cool. Like when he first transforms and he's in the dark. There's all these veins that light up backlight. It reminds me of monster that Geordie LaForge turns into in a TNG episode that looks like a blacklight suit. And then like the eyeball is cool and it pops out and he can put it back in his face and like all of that
You
stuff.
feel like
was,
monster vision with it?
yes, all that stuff was just really creative and fun.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting all that. Honestly, there's a lot here that I wasn't expecting, and the biggest thing, like we alluded to earlier, is that it does have a real honest to God story. And yes, you can track a narrative in the first movie, but this film has some actual pathos where I don't feel like the whole thing is a parody. The original movie is just straight up farce, and there's a place for that. But I was surprised by how much I was actually appreciating and sympathizing with and rooting for the protagonist with this. And yeah, some of it is performances, but some of it is certainly in just the skeleton of the plot and of characterization. I didn't expect a Toxic Avenger who isn't just ultra pathetic and where you're kind of laughing at him the whole movie. Like, yeah, he's an outcast. He's still a janitor that nobody takes seriously, but he feels like a regular guy. And
Even the tutu thing ends up being like really endearing. Like,
yeah,
we have like a really cool thing with how we do that.
it is. Now we can talk about that later because I don't fully get why he keeps it on, but his putting it on in the first place, I was totally on board with, and I thought that was a
Yeah, I feel
decent
that.
example of retooling an idea without forcing it to be something else. Like, well, it's got to be there. So how is it going to be there? Like, if you've never seen the original, you might not be cocking an eyebrow, going, why the hell is it a tutu? That's weird. But yeah, I really appreciated that this was a completely different story with some of the same initial ideas in the satire, but also all new, more contemporary satire that seemed real appropriate and fun things, and also sad things to parody and make fun of. So now it's not just corporations that don't care about the environment; it's also corporations that relentlessly don't care about you. And some of that, and it's weird to say this for me in a Toxic Avenger movie, it kind of hit home for me, like made me feel things. I really like the satire it's doing about both the health industry at large and pharmaceutical companies. Specifically, I guess pharmaceuticals and also supplements. The idea that these companies don't care if they make you sick or not, and maybe even are doing that on purpose, which there was a time where we would all think that was insanely conspiratorial, and not to get too much into unfortunate current events and politics and stuff, but that stuff does seem to be happening, and this is attacking that head on, and I appreciate that. I thought it was kind of ballsy of it to go there. The cynic in me wondered if that wasn't part of the reason it couldn't get distribution.
Maybe.
I had that thought.
And I guess while we're there, we should mention too, like it's really cool that this is essentially being released for charity.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, where I think it was like they donated 3 million off the bat, and then for every million, they're going to donate another million towards people with medical debt.
Medical debt, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You told me about that, and I forgot.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's also really cool. So it's also, putting its money where its mouth is, too.
My worst thing with this is, and you likely won't agree with this, Austin, but this is just the experience I had with it.
I mean, you can feel how you want to feel. You don't have to. It's okay if I don't agree.
Some of this is, I'm sure, personal sensibilities and stuff. I'm really surprised I'm saying this. I don't mean to say that I want the Toxic Avenger to necessarily be a straight up dramatic thing with no comedy at all. I think there's comedy inherent to the idea. And back in 2010, there was supposed to be an attempt at a PG-13 version that would be looking more at the cartoon show and try to be sold to families. I wouldn't want that necessarily. I don't know if you could make that work. Like if you just water it down to the point where it kind of wasn't for anybody. But at the same time, where this wasn't, and this is like a backhanded compliment, I guess. I didn't expect the dramatic stuff to work this well in a Toxic Avenger movie, and I think it's at its best when its comedy is just inherent in the background and the concepts and the ideas of it. When it gets more like traditional trauma, slapstick and farcical, that's when it doesn't work as well for me. I felt like that stuff. I did not see the balance that you're talking about. For the most part.
Fair.
Now, I did think that some of the comedy was certainly balanced well with the drama. What I'm talking about is some of the over the top violence and some of the like raunchy language and stuff that just feels like, well, it's a trauma movie and it's a tribute to a trauma movie, and so those things have to be shoehorned in somehow, and they didn't feel like inherent to the movie they were making to me. I was actually taking it more seriously than that, and I even thought, while a lot of the signage was really funny, I even thought some of that went too far. I was buying this world too much, and it felt like it almost felt like, and I'm not saying this is what happened because I'm sure it wasn't. It almost felt like Lloyd Kaufman was standing behind it, making fun of everything, and a lot of what's here isn't that kind of jokey to me. It feels like a lot more of a like dark, more, I don't want to say understated, but like not always laugh out loud funny. The first half an hour of this, especially Austin, I was comparing it more to like a Dark Man than a Toxic Avenger.
Mhm.
Like it felt like it fit in that camp, almost like it had graduated to absurdist drama before it was farcical, not at all taking itself seriously comedy. And so, like, I love that the actors were playing it straight. I kind of wish the movie played it a little straighter.
Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, because I went in thinking it was going to be more of that kind of dramedy thing, and then when you get the first scene where we're doing like a Naked Gun gag, where you have the doctor that is our Melvin getting shot, and he's like getting back up and being like, "Ow, stop shooting me." I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't realize we were going to go to these kinds of places, and then so I think I was also just kind of taken aback by that. And I don't know, a lot of that stuff I thought worked for me, but I can also see where you're coming from, like in terms of it kind of feeling like we took two things and kind of melded them together. But I think that gave it almost like a unique voice, like within its own series for me, where it kind of did fuse.
Yeah, I would have to almost take you scene by scene.
Mm.
It's very much a case by case basis thing where that opening scene does a really good job establishing tone and letting you know what kind of thing you're in for. But like some of those worked for me and some of them didn't. Like the doctor that is kind of absent-minded and can't get to the point. That was a joke that worked for me at first, and that went on too long.
Yeah, I did think that that went on too long. Like, it's not like every joke worked for me. It is that kind of thing where it throws enough jokes at you, where the ones that don't land, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, we immediately got to the next one. And I think the drama stuff ended up balancing well for me because it's mostly around Peter Dinklage and his son. So it's like
Yeah,
this is like the dramatic part of the movie, and then kind of everything around it is more silly. That and I was expecting it to be much more of a parody of modern superhero movies, and it also remembers that the Toxic Avenger starts as a parody of like Universal monsters
mm-hmm.
before superheroes, and so I was really appreciating that stuff.
I was
Like
too,
one of
and
my
that's part of why it reminded me so much of Darkman, because Darkman absolutely has that.
Absolutely, yeah. No, like one of my favorite gags, and it's pretty early. It's when we first get Toxic Avenger, when he's running, and the civilians are reacting to him, and there's the cop there, and he's like, "Okay, everybody, calm down, relax. Like we've got this covered." And then a truck pulls up, and there's a bunch of people with torches, and they're like, "No, we're gonna start a riot." And the cop's like, "Okay, everybody,
Now,
uh,
now it's a riot.
now it's a riot." And he starts shooting into the air, and he's like, "Everybody, it's a riot." I'm like, oh, okay, now we're in like the Frankenstein, we're gonna hunt the monster bit. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff like that
Yeah, and
that I was
comedy
really
is so
digging too.
subjective that again, some of this is just gonna be like your mileage will vary. But I guess more of the stuff that was intrusive to me was the real. How do I even describe it? Just the real out there far stuff. Like when you get toward the end and you have like uh the like boob flash thing. It's like, well, it's a trauma movie, so you have to have at least like one moment where that happens, and then you got like silly sound effects to accompany it, almost like it's just bashing you over the head. Don't forget what kind of thing this is, or that, like, I don't know. I felt like there was a bingo card for it.
Oh, see, that didn't jump out at me just because like I've seen that at concerts, so I was just like, oh, okay, like we're in like a concert, it makes sense for that to
Yeah,
happen.
but they did like the
It's
boing yoing
kinda-
yoing effect behind it because it's
yeah,
trauma, and that doesn't fit in
I
this
guess it just didn't.
movie.
I guess it just didn't jump out to me, and maybe
I
like
think
right
I was just
before.
sensitive to it at that point because the thing is, I didn't even like I didn't even like some of the violence comedy in the Miss Meat scene.
Mhm.
because this movie felt a little elevated over that stuff. And so I'm not saying that it can't be that kind of movie if it wants to. I didn't think that was the sort of movie I was watching.
Yeah, I guess I just don't have that like in general. Like I do think that's like a sensibility difference. But in terms of like the sound effect thing, like I guess also because I just rewatched like all of them but three the other day. I did like a watch party, so I guess like I was just kind of more conditioned for like that kind of stuff going
Oh,
into it.
that makes
But it
sense
wasn't
too.
really jumping out at me. Like I probably didn't even like think twice when it happened.
See, you and I had somewhat different takes on Naked Gun, I think, for similar reasons, because you had gone back through that whole franchise just before you saw that movie, and I
Hmm.
watched it, having just watched the first one.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Uh, no, and I don't know, some of that far stuff I think worked for me. Like with the boob one specifically, it's like they do, I think it's like three boobs, and then it's like a guy with a prosthetic crotch swinging, and I was like, I didn't expect them to go there. Like that's, I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure they were all prosthetic. I don't.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I just meant like in that spot specifically. But
But
yeah,
when I asked you if there was nudity and you told me about that part, I didn't expect it to be fake nudity. I think it's all fake nudity.
I think the boobs are
I
real.
don't think they are.
Are they? Okay, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just.
This is an odd thing we're supposed to be talking about on this channel. I'm pretty sure they weren't. I, and that's part of what made it seem obligatory. It was intentionally obligatory. It's like we're supposed to do this, but we're not actually going to have any like ask any women to do this time.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess if it was all prosthetic, like it went over my head.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go with a very mild feeling it on this. Cause still like somewhat outside of my comfort zone. Like the more trauma it got, the less interested I was. I think I was really impressed with the first half hour more than I was the rest of it.
Hmm.
Um, but I like it well enough to recommend it to people that like this kind of hard R comedy. Certainly, like
Hmm.
and I think it's a good entry in the very narrow category of remakes of decades old comedies or horror things. You know what this reminded me most of?
What's that?
And these are probably comparable in quality to me. But this reminded me quite a bit of the Child's Play remake.
Oh, okay. I actually thought about that a little bit too, just in terms of how it's not like the exact same. Like we do kind of retool what exactly it is.
Yeah, it comes at the original concept from a totally different entry point, and I really respected it for that. Where
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like it's all about attitude, right? It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like it's cashing in on or banking too much on nostalgia when it uses the we're kind of back to the good and bad service conversation, right? Like when it uses the classic iconography, it's because a it wants to be true enough to that material where it can still call itself Toxic Avenger, and b it likes that stuff, so it wants to find a cool way to integrate it. It doesn't feel like any sort of emotional manipulation. The cleverest of those to me was taking the old classical music that the Toxic Avenger uses because it just can't afford a soundtrack, and every time Toxic Avenger shows up, it's the same stock music, and this integrates that music, that melody, in a super badass way in the soundtrack. The
Hmm.
score here is really good, and that was some of the best stuff in it. I loved the way that was integrated, and I don't know.
Hmm.
It's a real. I don't know how else to put it, Austin, but to say like the way this movie is edited uh, and paced is really kind of metal.
Hmm. Yeah, I was not expecting that music to pop in. So when it did, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." Um, yeah, and I guess in terms of the remake thing, the Toxic Avenger is probably small enough that the only way it's getting remade is if somebody like really wants to make it. Like, it's not going to be a studio thing. It's going to be somebody like a director or writer or whatever is like, well, I want to do this. And you're either going to get one of two things, what we ended up getting, or just like a shot for shot, like, I want to do this. Like, I love this movie. I want to do like my homage to it kind of a thing. So
Or
I
the
guess it is
third
nice that,
thing would be what almost happened, which is a studio does get a hold of it and wants to use it for brand recognition, name recognition, but make it
yeah.
something completely different and totally sanitized. And that's
Mhm.
what almost happened with this.
You're right. I was thinking, it's kind of too small for that, but you're right. Like you were just saying a minute ago, that they wanted to do that with the kind of PG-13 version.
It's at least on the same level as something like Captain Planet because it had a popular enough cartoon show, so it had all that same like licensing that those things had.
Hmm.
So it had a video game, it had action figures. Once you're at that level, a couple decades later, when we're at this dearth for creativity in Hollywood, those are the things that Hollywood is going after because it knows that the kids that played with those figures have grown up now and will go see whatever is in the theater that has that title. Like I'm surprised that hasn't happened with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's definitely that level.
When are we getting the Blumhouse remake of that?
How do you do that in a house?
But they have like a garden that they have in their house, like a little greenhouse room.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
You want to get into
Uh,
spoilers?
yeah, I mean, I feel like we've kind of just been inching towards it, so yeah, we might as well.
We totally have. But what specific scenes and ideas and characters and things do you want to talk about that we couldn't have talked about when we were just doing this?
Uh, well, I guess we can rip the elephant of the room off. I'm gonna mix my metaphors, and jump straight to the bizarre after credits scene coincidence.
I'm sorry, the bizarre what?
After credit scene coincidence.
Oh yeah, you want to just let's talk about that and then we'll hit just a couple super chats that we have real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get to the very end of this if you sit through the credits. And by the way, I saw this with an audience of exactly 4 other people, and no one stayed for the after credits. I'm the only person that saw grilled cheese being made.
I was the only one who remained seated. There was
Okay.
2 other people that got up and like stood, in like the little hallway to leave, but they at least stood and they were like, it's like a superhero thing. They might do a parody of an after credit scene.
Yeah. And that's not exactly what it was. I mean, like, it might be
It like
there.
starts
It
as a
might.
parody and then
Oh, that's true because it does. Because the first thing it does is it has a villain that basically is like, "I'll be back."
yeah, it like starts to do that and goes, never mind. Here's this grilled cheese scene
Jumps over to
instead.
that. So, spoilers for my movie, but we did the exact same thing with the after credits of Superhero Rewind the movie, where we made a new episode of Cooking with Doomsvids. And on the same day that this release or that my movie released, Toxic Avenger comes out and has an after credit scene where Toxie is teaching you how to make a grilled cheese sandwich. And the big difference between them, it's so bizarre that I'm talking about this, is ours is a bunch of jump cuts, and they did theirs as a complete oneer. I
And I'm pretty sure both are just improv. I would
yeah,
be shocked if that's not improv.
well, it's hard to say though, Austin,
Hmm.
because if theirs is improv, it's significantly harder to do than what we did because they have a suit performer. So
Hmm.
then you got
Well,
to
they can
wonder.
improv it and then he voices it. Like, I could see that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Is there are actions that she's doing in the suit that go so much along with what he's saying that if it's all improvised, it's like a chicken and the egg question.
Mhm,
And you always wonder how exactly that works, or if they're both
mhm.
in the room together and they're just that in sync with each other, because that's also possible.
Mhm.
Or it could be scripted.
Yeah, no, I mean it could be.
I'm
I
with
think it
you.
just
It
felt like
looks improvised, but it could be scripted.
yeah.
I don't know. It could be scripted to seem improvised.
Yeah, because he comes in, he's like, yeah, this is how I do it. Like, I like to serve it with milk sometimes. You don't have to do
You don't
that.
have to do that. You're like, sometimes I put mayonnaise on it. You can't even taste it. I don't know why I do that.
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, oh my god, Cap's gonna lose it. Like,
It was really. I
it's
almost wish
so
you hadn't told
weird.
me about it.
Yeah, no, I maybe shouldn't, but I was so just like dumbstruck, and I think by that point I didn't know for sure that we were gonna review it.
That's true. I
So I
hadn't even
was
decided
like,
if I was going to see it, so I'm sure that's why you told me. But I tell you what, I thought that was so funny that
mm,
it actually hurt some of the movie for me because I wished we had time, and I appreciate that this is a nice, concise hour and 40 minutes. This is not the kind of movie that should be a lot longer than that, probably. And
no.
there's a decent number of subplots. Like, one of the things I like this so much more over the original, of course, is that first movie is almost intentionally meandery, and this has a surprising amount going on. Like, it's pretty involved
Mhm.
for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is like 'cause the original I would say is a movie that it like kind of wraps up its plot like in the second act, and then meanders for a little bit in terms of like, okay, here's some funny ideas we have while we're doing this, and then like let's do like the Frankenstein, like now everybody's coming to get the monster thing at the end. Like it's kind of got that going. While this is, yeah, like you said, a much more involved plot.
Yeah, and a lot more people come to Toxie's side earlier than in the original movie. Like,
Mhm.
he is fully established as the town hero by about the hour mark.
Well, you know what the biggest difference is, Cap, is that
He's
they
actually
actually
called
knew
Toxic Avenger.
he was called the Toxic Avenger when they made this.
Yeah, we talked about this in the rewind, but that movie had a different title originally, almost all the way up until it came out,
Mhm.
and so he wasn't even called that yet. So it's not in the
Yeah,
movie.
'cause there was a point where they were just calling him like like the monster or whatever, and I
Yeah,
was like, wait a minute, are we gonna go like all the way and he's just not gonna be called that? Like we're gonna go back to that thing
I
in the
wondered that
original,
too.
and then the name comes up, and it was like, okay, we're not.
Yeah, and that felt like sometimes it's hard to tell when we're doing the parody of uh like big commercial blockbuster things and when we're falling into the same patterns. That was
Mhm.
one of those where it could either be uh, it's recognizing the relative popularity of the Toxic Avenger, and so he's going to get the Toxie nickname as early as he does because that's what Kaufman calls him. That's what the fans have called him for a lot of decades now, and
Mhm.
so it's kind of it knows its own press, or it could be making fun of everything that does that by
Mhm.
doing that. It's hard to tell which of those it is.
Mhm. Well, I like how we get it where it's like, oh, the kids are calling him the Toxic Avenger. I think that's just swell.
Yeah, yeah. All the media stuff's pretty funny.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm not wrong, I think the male reporter is the director, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. You
I
know
know
what one of
he's
the
in this as something,
you know
but
one of the
I think
gags
that
that I shouldn't find funny, but it actually really made me laugh, really won me over on
what's that?
swearing in front of children, just
Yeah.
constantly. It was really fun. Like it feels like again they're just playing it straight. This is just a world where everybody swears in front of children. It was really funny, and like there's f bombs all over the news. No one cares.
Yeah, I like that too, where it's just like, yeah, on the news they're dropping F-bombs because it's that kind of a
The one
world.
that really took me aback and where I realized, okay, if we stay consistent about this, where this is just the cynical, screwed up world we're living in, like it kind of feels like a Gotham City that's cut off from the rest of the world, so the rules are different, and
Mhm.
they've completely lost touch with the rest of reality, and so there's all these horrible things that are just totally normalized in this world. The moment where I thought maybe that's what they were doing, and I was really happy that it was, is when they have uh, children in a talent show dancing to the most sexual song you've ever heard. and that is like a satire on like cheerleading or and dance and like dance competitions. My son has been in dance since he was 5 or 6, and some of the like questionable song choices with like little girls in scantily clad outfits on stage have like never sat right with me, and
Mhm.
I never totally know how to feel about it. You know, you walk into a room. This is an aside, but you walk into a room with all these parents, all these adults. Nobody has a problem with this. You're just looking around, waiting for someone to object, and nobody does. And you're like, I guess this is okay? Question mark. And you're going. It feels like we're walking dangerously close to this line of kind of of like overly sexualizing underage girls, but nobody's noticing or like nobody sees it that way. And like I've been in this world for a lot of years now. It's always been weird to me, and
Well, because it's like a similar thing to like
I've
a
never been
lot of those kind
comfortable
of
with
like
it.
the like beauty shows and like talent shows and like the dance stuff kind of fits into like that realm. I
It
feel
does,
like
yeah. So
yeah.
that spoke to me on a personal level.
I wondered if some of that stuff would hit you because I was like, I knew obviously that you experienced some of the stuff with Jason, not that specifically, but I was like, I wonder if some of this will jump out to Cap.
Well, the first thing I thought was, yeah, I had my parent hat on. And the first thing I thought was, oh, this song is highly appropriate. Why are we allowing this? And then I remember what movie I was watching, and I was like, okay, that's darkly funny.
Well, what made me laugh too is that because I know that song
Sorry, I
and
spent too long in analyzing that.
no, it's okay. My sister was the one who showed me that song, and she was like 13 when she showed me that. So I was just like, oh yeah, I think that's funny.
Nicholas Bodo, this movie goes after that creepy stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, it does. I mean,
Mhm.
I saw a lot of mining for truth in a comedic way with screwed up stuff that's going on in our society these days that a lot of mainstream stuff just doesn't care about, doesn't tackle.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen it, the song is the like "My Neck, My Back" song. I don't know what the exact title is. It might be that. I don't know. That's just what my sister always calls it. But yeah, it's very. When that happened, I was like, "Wow, we're going there."
Yeah,
That's really funny.
and I also feel like this is very like equal opportunity making fun of or hating everything kind of movie. Like it doesn't feel like there's a there's a side that's being pandered to with any of the satire. I did you have that too, Austin? Like I felt like everybody gets thrown under the bus with the stuff that they're making fun of with this.
Yeah, I think that just kind of helped with that kind of trauma feel where it was that just that you can make fun of everyone. Like no one's really off limits.
It gets into a place of if everything's political, nothing is. Like it doesn't feel like a political movie, but there's so much that's being satirized.
Yeah, for sure.
Take for instance, and tell me if you agree with this read.
Hmm.
The whole Miss Meat thing.
Yeah.
So the original movie has a restaurant that's Mr. Meat, and this redoes that scene, but it takes that restaurant and gender flips it, and it makes it Miss Meat, and then you have this gang that's taking hostages that's just angry that the name was changed.
Mm.
And that like and it gets and they get real political about it, and it's like they're going they're having to change everything female, and they're going after masculinity, etc etc, and I
Well, I
felt
think the slogan for them too is like "better body, same great taste" or something like that.
yeah.
Like new body, yeah.
And so I felt like that was really making fun of both sides of this kind of issue, and it was also making fun of movies that I like have to again redo entire scenes and change that one thing so that they can claim that it's not identical, but also the pandering thing where it's like, well, we're trying to appeal to another demographic, or it's in vogue to try to be more equal opportunity, or to put women in place of men because men had their turn and all of that. But then it's also making fun of the people who overreact to that stuff. And so, like, both sides are thrown under the bus with that. And depending on where you fall on it, you'll probably identify with that scene regardless of what your politics are.
No, I had the exact same thing.
And I had a lot of respect for that.
I was like, we're just kind of making fun of everyone.
Yeah, we're just saying we've gotten just too extreme in this in our culture. We've gotten too extreme with how we reboot things. Like, we're making fun of the politics, we're making fun of the business.
Yeah, because it's
All
like,
of that.
also kind of pandery to at the same time. But then, yeah, like, these guys are goofs, that are like, this fast food restaurant changed. Now we're mad. We're gonna shoot it up now.
Yeah, and like, even if you had a point about pandering or whatever, like, nothing's worth that. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Pick your battles, man.
Exactly. But no, I agree completely. Like, I had the same read where it was like, we're just kind of making fun of just crazy people in the scene as opposed to any specific group.
Because I saw a review that was only talking about one side of it, because it seemed like that writer was seeing, and I won't name names, partly because I don't even remember who it was, but I would name names anyway. But that writer was identifying with one of those ideas, and that's all he was seeing. And I was like, this kind of comedy does that by design. It's like, you will see the thing you don't like in it because it's all in it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's great.
It reminded me of the like, you wouldn't have seen this, but the new Beavis and Butthead movie is very like that, where Mike Judge is clearly just an old man that was grumpy in the 90s about youth culture, so now that's only worse as time's gone on. So it's just like, hey, I don't understand anyone.
You're either going to mellow out or you're going to go after everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me read these couple of super chats real quick. I had one that's not relevant to the conversation right now, but I'll just read it real quick. Senior Sticks was just talking about my movie, $2 super chat. Will the reviewer be showing up to review again? I don't know. I can't. You'll notice at the end of the movie that it doesn't say the reviewer will return. It just says Captain Logan will return. Here I am. I've returned.
Well, if I can pitch something to you, Cap.
Oh God.
These things did come out the same day. Toxic versus the reviewer.
Oh, that's good. Where I'm just reviewing him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Stop reviewing me, I'm mopping."
Quit reviewing my mop. That prop is cool.
It is cool. And when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Like, his mop isn't like a regular mop." And then it works perfectly in this movie.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love that it becomes like a almost cosmic level sort of weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
I also like that the comedy at the end about whether or not Toxie has been killing people. Like, they're kind of making fun of the original with that, where it's like he's murdered all these people and nobody cares, and that's sort of the joke of the original. And then here it's we have to do. This is a place where it is kind of making fun of the modern superhero movie. Where we've got that moment where his son has to say, "No, don't kill him. That's not who you are." And then everybody stops and analyzes it, and they're like, "Wait, maybe it is who he is. Aren't there all these people that he killed?" And then Toxie's like, "Well, there's this one. It was self-defense." And then somebody else is like, weren't there other people? And then they all stop for a second. I think there were other people that he killed. And I really like that somehow that doesn't undercut the sympathy that I have for that character, because it does a great job in a comedic way of dancing around the revenge thriller part of it. Because you could say, well, he's just going after everybody that wronged him, and people that are wronging whoever he sees in the scene. And like, he does go attack those people, but because of his power set, it would be so difficult for him to be in a fight and not murder everyone. I can never tell if it's... Well, especially with this mop. I don't know if it's ever motivated. Like, he rips off a guy's arm in his first fight without thinking about it. That wasn't premeditated. Like, that guy didn't even do anything to him. He's just taking hostages in this hamburger place, and he just walks right up to him and rips his arm off. Now, maybe I would be clearer on his motivations if he were immediately to be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to rip your arm off. But also, it's not like a nice guy that he just accidentally did that to. He's not going to feel a lot of sympathy for that guy. So, I don't know, like, it's weird to be praising the ambiguity of that, but in this comedic context, it actually works for me not to think less of this character. If that makes any sense at all.
No, I think that makes sense. I think it probably helps with the revenge thing that the people that did this to him, that are like the gang from the original, in that way, it's the band, and we take them out pretty quickly, and then after that, it's just like the grander villains. So I think like that probably helps the revenge, like it not just be a revenge movie.
Yeah. That's true.
Also, I want to mention too.
Although that does seem more premeditated.
Oh, that 100% is premeditated. That's because they're bad people.
I guess, to be fair, he does not kill them on accident. I feel like I'm almost apologizing for this aspect of the movie, but I'm trying to explain why it worked for me, because I feel like it shouldn't, but it kind of did.
Well, also when he kills them, they just kidnapped his kid.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
again,
it's like, oh, they're gonna kill my child.
You can still argue the element of he doesn't know his strength yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he does spear his mop through them, but there's still a bit of that.
That's true. Well, and then there's the guy that he just slices the top of his head right off.
Mm-hmm. But the arm thing, I gotta mention, that's one of my favorite just physical gags in this. Because there's a lot of stuff that like just they throw at you really quickly, and I think that's an easy one to miss, which is that he rips his arm off, and then later on, that guy's with the doctor, and his arm's on backwards, where it's like
I missed
it's flipped around, and he's like, "Doc, just cut it back off and start over."
That's hilarious. I missed that.
Yeah, it's in the background.
That's really funny. You know what the funniest thing with the band was to me?
What's that?
The guy that won't stop flipping.
Oh my god, yes.
That also
and
seemed
he flips through a table.
Yeah, that almost seemed like a Darkman joke.
Mm-hmm. Well, it reminded me of Warzone, with like the parkour guys in Punisher Warzone.
Oh, I forgot about that. But yeah, every scene he's doing these really impressive stunts where this guy can actually flip like that. And then they pay it off in a hilarious way later when he flips and like he hits something, he falls over or something, and then one of the other guys goes, "Quit flipping." It's
he
really
goes to
funny.
a table. He does it in Toxie's house and just like face plants.
Oh, that's what it is, because they're trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
Right? Are they sneaking around? I can't remember.
Well, they break into the apartment, and then he just like immediately flips into it and goes through a table. And then that's when Elijah Wood's like, "Oh my god, stop flipping."
You mentioned her earlier, and I couldn't remember her name either. How good is the female sidekick in this?
She is really good, and
She's
I didn't
really
expect
good.
that kind of a thing, but she was really cool in it.
No, and how did you feel about no romance plot? Because, I've been on about this a lot lately, where we're at least for a while there, it felt like we were really avoiding romances. I think that's starting to come back a little bit. I liked it here because it separates itself so much from the original, and because he had a wife that died of cancer, and the whole movie he thinks he's about to die of cancer. So I kind of like that he's not immediately trying to jump in the sack with somebody. And I mean, like, I get that he's
It'd make it awkward with the kid too. Like I
that's
feel like you
true.
open up too much of a can of worms with that. But I think their relationship specifically works better as just friends. I did
Yeah,
wonder
me
if we were
too.
going to do the blind romance thing because we do introduce her and then she ends up being a completely different character.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
Mhm. Yeah, 'cause she ends up being like an FBI agent.
Well, I like that a lot of the comedy just comes from different sources in this. Like,
Mhm.
even the things that are funny about Toxie himself, it's not they're not really coming from the same places. Because the original movie, he's so uh like um socially awkward. He's so antisocial and pathetic, and it's much more about like bullying and 80s materialism and people like trying to show their street cred in stupid ways and stuff. And this movie is a lot more about the typical like big business pushing down the common man kind of thing, which yeah we see all the time and it's dime a dozen, but making it uh, about the health industry. Not that we never do that either, but it was fresh enough with this, and it also might be making fun of the fact that every superhero movie does this now.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
but it did feel like a fresh take compared to the original, just because it's not doing exactly what the original was. So the thing is, if it had done another romance, I don't know what the new angle would be. Like you'd be um the fear would be that you'd be kind of trudging back into the same waters.
No, we kind of just replaced the romance with like the parental relationship. I'm trying to remember the female lead. She's got one of my favorite lines in the movie where she's talking to the kid who is Jacob Tremblay. This movie has a really impressive cast, and they're talking about I think it's like her sister that died, and the kid's like, "Oh, cancer," and she's like, "No, it's like some stupid thing. I can't remember what it is." And the kid's like, "Oh yeah, that sucks. My mom died," and she's like, "Oh, from this too?" And he's like, "Well, no, from
That
cancer."
was a great exchange.
Uh, that was a Naked Gun
Yes,
exchange.
it was,
That was really funny.
and it worked. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it's weird that this and the Naked Gun ended up coming out a few weeks apart from each other.
Yeah,
I
maybe comedy's just back.
Well, yeah, except this was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it's not doing especially well, but still,
No,
comedy's back. I'm championing it.
but it's just interesting because they're both farces and parodies. Uh, in they're both remakes of those kinds of movies and of movies that came out like 5 years apart.
Mhm. That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so
Uh,
real
mhm.
quick, just because I'm afraid I'm
Yeah,
gonna forget to tell you about this. You were
yeah.
you were talking about people who died, and it reminded me of something I really wanted to tell you about.
Oh,
So,
okay.
can I mention this real quick, and then we'll get back to the
Uh,
review?
yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jason blew my mind with something today. Because so Austin and I both really like that "People Who Died" song that's in the opening of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and my kids tonight were watching for the first time all of them except for Jason. Jason had seen it before, but I just on a whim put on E.T. for all the kids, and they were just enamored with
Is
it. And
that song in that
I hadn't
movie?
seen that movie in a lot of years. I missed a few scenes because my wife and I were doing some things, and I came in and out of the room. And when we got to the end, Jason goes, "Do you know what the song is that's playing on the radio at the beginning of the movie in the kitchen?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "It's People Who Died. That's in the ET."
That's so weird.
What? I just had to tell you about that.
That's really
That
funny.
has jack to do with anything.
Mhm. That's amusing. That's a weird song to be in that movie.
Isn't that amazing? So
That is
I gotta go back
that's
and listen to that. I gotta see exactly where that play is, but
that is now officially my favorite thing in ET.
I'm not the biggest fan of that movie either. It's a gorgeous film, but
Hmm.
I like it for individual shots more than story.
Hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. Nicholas Bodo's asked, I think, a couple times about Elijah Wood, so I guess we can mention him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, he's in
he was,
this.
yeah.
He's playing the Gotham version of Penguin. It's a really weird choice.
Well, so he was one of the only things I knew about this, like when they first announced it, and I was like, oh, this might be a good movie because he picks a lot of like weird, cool stuff now because he's done Lord of the Rings. He made his money. Now he can kind of just do whatever he wants. And he plays a hunchback who is named Fritz, like the original Frankenstein movie, and I was so happy because we always go to Igor, even though in the original Frankenstein movie his name is Fritz, and I was like,
I
that's
didn't know
wonderful.
that. Like I was obviously an Igor thing, but I didn't know that's
Mhm.
where the name came from.
Yeah, I was like, that's so cool. I don't know that I've seen somebody go back to that name specifically.
Have you ever
But yeah,
noticed
he's
that Elijah Wood gets picked for parts just to look just past the camera and look forlorn? Like it's the only thing he
yeah.
does. Like his face is just his resting face is oh, that's unfortunate. That's his resting face.
He's got resting unfortunate face.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
He just like or you could say every time Elijah Wood is on screen, you wonder if somebody just kicked his dog or like ran his dog over. Cuz like that's the face he has. It's like, "Oh, don't do that to my dog."
Yeah, no, I can see that. He's always bringing his dog to set, and that's how they get him to do it.
Like I'm not taking away from anything from Elijah Wood. I think he's a really good actor, but can you imagine making your living just giving that expression in every project?
No, that'd be awesome.
He's really good in this, but he's kind of typecast because it's just to make that face.
Yeah, and he wasn't at all what I thought he would be because I thought he was just going to be a villain, and he starts that way, but he's the villain that gets redeemed by the end. Where he and Kevin Bacon are brothers, which is also funny, especially because there's like a wide age gap between them.
I mean, it can happen.
Yeah, no, I mean I've got like pretty big age gaps with some of my siblings, but I don't know, they got like a big age gap.
But yeah, he's that archetype of the henchman to a villain that just goes along to get along until you push him too far, and so
Mhm.
he has a moral code that the villain doesn't have, and at the point where you finally try to push him too far over that code, he's gonna double cross you, and you've got one of those. So his line is at killing kids.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
I just
You
wanted to prove that
don't
I watched the entire film.
you don't kill kids. There's a point where Toxie has like a speech like that reminded me a lot of Super, where it was like a very similar, like, you don't do this.
I like this a lot more than Super.
Once you see it 4 times.
I gotta see it for. I only had to see this once, and I flipped green. I don't know if another viewing would make it better or worse, just because of the stuff
Mhm.
that I didn't care for in this. Uh,
Mhm.
I went green because of all the positive things I'm surprised by. If I see it again, I don't know, but
Yeah, you already know it's there. You're not going to be surprised.
no, I just proved that I watched the whole film. I thought it was an interesting detail that Elijah Wood's character that it was his idea in the first place to kidnap the kid.
Mhm.
That made him almost more sympathetic, where it's like he's trying to live up to his brother's expectations and impress his brother, and so you think that he's just uh, pathetic bad guy brother, and then it turns out that there's kind of a person in there. Like, yeah, it is ultimately a bit of an archetype, but I didn't know that was the archetype we were dealing with. So
Mhm.
when that reveal comes up, it's kind of a nice twist.
No, same here. Just because, like, he's also the handler for that band, so I was like, oh, he's gonna be like a lot more slimy, and he's got like a kind of worm tongue look, like from Lord of the Rings. So I'm
Yeah,
like, he's gonna be that kind of a character. So when he gets redeemed, I was a little bit surprised.
yeah. There's a Harry Potter character he reminded me of too.
Yeah, for sure.
and he's taking the band places to murder people. So like obviously he's a bad person. I mean he's a scumbag. He has been an accessory to murder on multiple occasions. But it turns out that there is like some kind of compassionate person in there. And I actually like that Kevin Bacon was just straight up evil.
Yeah,
Like
I liked Kevin Bacon in this quite a
that
bit.
that really worked for me.
Mhm.
Because they just own it, and I don't know. You take everything on its own terms, right? Like usually, I want there to be, I want characters to be dictionary definition sympathetic. Like there's some kind of reason that they got to be the people they are. This guy is just, uh, so rich and powerful, and I don't mean that there aren't like rich people that have compassion and that can treat people right, but he's an intentional again stereotype, right? So
Mhm.
he's the stand-in for uh like big evil pharmaceutical companies. And so he's the place where they won me over on that, where I stopped at asking the question, how did he get this way, is when he says at the end, don't you understand? I'm a monster.
Well, he's also got like one of the best parody lines where Toxic Avenger's like, "I've lost everything," and then Kevin Bacon goes,
That was one of
uh,
the best lines.
"We're we're just alike, the two of us. I also like to scream everything."
It's so good. But
Yeah,
yeah, he has to be as over the top as he is to do the satire they're doing.
yeah. Well, down to his house is labeled Chud Haven,
Yeah,
which I thought was really funny, and one of the only like direct parody name things we go to.
yep,
Like it's like a Bloodhaven thing.
yeah, it's true. Uh, and there's a lot of silly signs. And like I said, some of that took me out a little bit, but I found a lot of them really funny, so I was kind of two minds about it. I there's one at the end that made me laugh. Where it was like it wasn't the Wastelands, but it was something like that.
Oh, it was like it used to be like a theme park. That one.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that
good
was
one.
pretty good.
They love sign jokes and they love like ADR people in the background talking jokes.
Yes.
They go to both of those a lot.
Pros and cons guy fired on the super chat. The Toxic Avenger didn't show in my theater. What's the plot? I didn't know it existed. Never saw a trailer for it. Well, Austin very eloquently broke down the plot at the beginning of at about the 11 or 12 minute mark. So you can go back and listen to Austin's synopsis. Hey Austin, do a much shorter 20-second synopsis. Go.
Toxie done hurt some folk.
He's got a mop that glows.
Hmm. And then he fights Kevin Bacon as the Wolfman.
Yeah, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why does his wife drink the concoction?
Just so that she can be super like him, I guess.
Is that all it is?
I,
Because,
I think
like,
so.
I don't understand how you look at what he's turning into and decide, yeah, that looks like a good idea. I would also do that to myself.
She only got a drop. She only just kind of became pale.
Yeah, no, that's true. She's frothing at the mouth a little bit. That's about it.
Yeah, with the exception of the outfit, she looks like a nurse from Silent Hill 2. She's kind of pale.
Why does it keep going back to Silent Hill?
Because they're making a new one, and specifically Silent Hill 2.
Okay, now what I need you to do, Austin, is make another reference and then come back and say that same reference exactly word for word.
Oh God.
Because I had to watch that Silent Hill
Yeah.
trailer twice with something in
Twice?
between it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you don't have to
Okay.
actually you don't have to actually do that. I was
No,
just
I'll
joking.
work it. I'll work it around at some point. I'll weave it back in. We'll see. We'll see how I get there.
I so I've never understood if you're supposed to be able to be around the Toxic Avenger for any amount of time without developing some kind of an illness.
Hmm. I don't think uh, like that's ever a thing.
Is it not?
No. No, and like the original is he's got like his like traumaton thing, but that's like when he hulks out. That's like kind of it. But like, because I mean, he's like sleeping with his girlfriend and stuff in the original
See,
movies.
I was always shocked that, and I've never seen the sequels, but I'm shocked that they never did a plot point where it's like the Lex Luthor wearing the kryptonite ring too long, where like she's slept with him for like a year or two, and now she's got cancer or leukemia or something. Like, I'm surprised they never did that.
Yeah, that actually is a little surprising.
Because I mean, just look at him. That can't be healthy for anybody to touch for any amount of time.
Well, and four is about her getting pregnant. Like you could have gone to like a place like that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, yeah, by the same token, those movies are so much more farcical that I actually could see that being a big plot point for the sequel of this. Like, these would be
True.
more likely to go to that.
Yeah, no, I can see that. One here, like I'd be more willing to believe that uh, it's dangerous to be around him because he glows,
Yeah,
or even just being around his mop because his mop just is straight up toxic chemicals like mixed into his mop.
yeah, that sucker's nuclear.
It steams. Like there's a part at the end where he puts it down. Oh, it's when they're talking about like whether he kills people, and it's just like smoking in the background.
All I'm saying is when you can use your own pee to get out of like chains and shackles and stuff,
Mhm.
it can't be a good idea to have sexual intercourse. Like, I'm just
No,
saying.
no, that's probably why he doesn't have a romance in this
Yeah,
version
probably
because
not.
it would
But I
be a
like that they
Spider-Man
made
man.
him more toxic. Like, he seemed like a much more like legit superpowered threat in
Mhm.
this than he did in the original.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Just the ways in which they use the fact that they have more money. Like I said, like he's got like his big eye and you can like take it out and like
That's really
you
cool.
know view things through it and stuff like that. Like Cap said, he's got acid pee and things like that.
Which they make a big plot point out of, and I'm
Yeah.
shocked that I didn't hate that more than I did. Like, that should have really grossed me out and made me uncomfortable. But I kind of
Well, I
like
just like
that.
the line before it where he's
That's
like,
pretty funny.
I gotta whip it out, and she's just like, "What?" And he's
You have
like,
to
"No,
do
no, it's
what?
not a pervert thing. Don't look. I'm not a pervert."
Yeah, she's got some classic reactions to some of those lines. That
Mhm.
bit
Yeah,
that bit where he says, "I'm hard right now," and then it cuts back to her, and she just has like this raised eyebrow.
like,
It's a really good reaction. No, she's
mhm,
excellent.
mhm. Yeah, they're a good comedic duo. Like they bounce off each other really well.
What I like the way the movie opens, because I mean, after the voiceover with him,
Mhm.
which is kind of the typical superhero movie thing of you have to get a glimpse of the hero because you're not going to see what he turns into for a good half hour, 45 minutes. Um, and I honestly have reservations about that voiceover at the beginning. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't love that. I kind of think I would have left that out.
Yeah, I was kind of indifferent to it as well.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool that right after that, it opens like it's not really the movie you were expecting, and you get this kind of super spy chick, and you're like, where is this
Mhm.
going? Just right away, it feels a lot more comic booky than I was expecting. And so, like you're right. It's cool that they put their money where their mouth is, but it's also fun that now that it's been a superhero property and it's not like the first movie where they were thinking more horror than superhero. They blend those things real well and they let it look and feel a lot more comic booky. So I was a lot more
Mhm.
at home with it because of that.
Yeah, it's neat because yeah, there's like a darker opening, and then you get like the little animated opening titles. It's like all that stuff is really cool.
Yeah, and uh the transformation sequence, the kind of montage thing is
Mhm.
really neat looking. Like the
Yeah,
way
it
the way they
is.
edited that is awesome, and that kind of harkens back to like the Incredible Hulk TV show a little bit, and
Yeah, I was thinking of like Spider-Man as well,
hmm
and that's where you get like the big music too from the original.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a really cool bit. No, my reservation about the opening voiceover was it seemed too Deadpool.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And he doesn't. I I don't want to say exactly fourth wall break because like I get that you can do voiceovers where you're kind of talking to the audience like you're just writing in a journal or something. But when he's talking directly at the footage you're looking at, where he's like, "Oh no, not yet. We're not ready to look at that yet." I'm like, when we never go back to, I don't know what was happening there. Like if you think about it in the terms of the fiction, what was he seeing? What was happening? Like he's watching the movie for 5 seconds and then that never comes back. They don't even bookend with it.
I would be okay if the director and writer came out and told me that it was specifically a parody of Birds of Prey, where like every 15 minutes, it's just that annoying thing where she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to explain that. We gotta go back."
Ugh. Well, and in that way, I guess I'm glad it doesn't keep happening. But just for the sake of
Yeah.
consistency, I don't know why it opened like that.
hmm Yeah, I think it is just, so we can have like our cold open where we get to see some of the superhero-y stuff.
Uh, Cedar Sticks, super chat. Will you review Sergeant Kabuki Man in YPD? I feel like that might be on the request list.
That's on the rewind list.
Oh, it's on the rewind list. Okay, so yes, eventually, if that actually counts, eventually we will do that then.
Well, we'll have to do it before 4 because he's in that
Before 4.
Toxic Avenger 4. Sorry,
Oh,
I
I
should
see.
have
I see.
explained that better, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's pretty fun in that. I still haven't seen his movie. That was like the last movie I started when we were doing the top 100 list, and I got like 10 minutes in, and I was like, I'm so burnt out watching superhero movies. Uh, this could make my list. I don't know, but I think I just need a break.
I'm surprised you're still doing the show with me. But you know what? We might lose you after the 50 worst list, which is coming up soon, folks. We're gonna finally do that in the not too distant future. We've got to do our updated MCU countdown first, right? Wasn't that the plan? We were gonna
Yep.
do that, and then we were gonna get to the top 50 worst and open up the
Yep,
polls
and I'm
again.
good
And
to do that whenever.
let's do that real soon, and then we'll open
Mhm.
up polls and we'll get everybody's listen. I don't know if realistically we can get both done this month, but I'd really like to because we've got a kind of clean slate plan for part of October.
Oh yeah, for the end of October. Yeah.
We're doing a mania next month, the last couple weeks, and we've not officially announced this yet, but that's been in the works for a bit, and that means we need to get our ducks in a row and try to get these lists done before that if we can. But
I gotta figure out exactly what I'm putting on that list. I know I
me
mentioned one
too.
of them because I was like 100% I will do that one, but I gotta figure out what my other ones are.
Well, I don't even have my 50 worst list put together yet.
I know I still got like a couple more movies to put on, so
Yeah,
we're
we got
watching
we got
Supergirl.
work to
That
do,
might make
folks.
my list. We'll see.
It could. It absolutely could. We'll do that next week. So anyway, we're just planning on camera again. Austin, what else do you want to talk about with this that we haven't hit yet?
I don't know. I feel like we've hit most everything.
That was pretty thorough.
Yeah. No, I
It's not a
feel I feel like
it's not a complicated movie. It's not a long movie.
no, I mean it's the type of movie where you can get lost more in, here are moments I thought were funny.
Yeah, we've talked almost to its runtime.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And
We're
we usually
bad
talk
guys,
a lot
Cap. That's
past
what we
this
do.
runtime. You remember Superman?
Yeah. Well, we were also doing it with the runtime of its sequel.
Oh, probably more than that though. Well, maybe not, maybe
Yeah.
not. But that was like 5 hours.
Yeah, and Superman's only what 2,
We
so
also
maybe
had
the next one will be 2.5.
to be fair, we also had a panel of 5.
Yeah, no one else wanted to see Toxic Avenger.
I didn't even
Only
reach out
me.
to anybody else. I just assumed we were the only ones that saw. I didn't even think to ask anybody.
Yeah. No,
I probably
that's
should have
fair.
told Connor about it just in case he saw it this weekend, but I saw him in the
I'm
comments
sure
earlier.
he probably would have, seen that we were doing it and been like, "Oh, hey, I just saw this. If you wanted to."
Hopefully so.
Same
Well,
with Roberto.
I didn't mean to leave anybody out, but this was such a small release, and I almost didn't see it.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure what was going to happen, and then luckily, uh, I mean, I was gonna drive because I was like, I need to see this.
We had other plans tonight. We were gonna finally do another vault because it's been a while. And then you
Yep.
were like, I saw Toxic Avenger, and it's only playing for like a few days, and I was like, well, we did the rewind earlier this week. I guess I better go see if I can see that. So I'm glad I did. Like, it's a great deal more watchable than I expected, and I personally like it. Head and shoulders over the original, but that's just because there's more stuff in it for me.
When I think I said that to you too, where I was like, if you're gonna like either of these, it'll probably be this one. But I still didn't know if you were gonna like it or not. Uh, so I'm
Well, yeah,
glad that
because
you enjoyed it well enough.
I again I respect things about the filmmaking of the original, but I disliked that movie enough that I could have flipped red and still liked this more than that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly.
Exactly.
Nicholas Bodo looking forward to the next vault too. Well, you may or may not. I'm gonna go kind of obscure with that one too. The next vault when we get to maybe next Monday. I don't know what's coming up next as far as new
Yeah.
things go, but I think we'll probably be able to work
I
one
feel
in.
like we're in a drought for new movies, but I could be at least new movies that we would cover.
Yeah, so we should be able to do some vaults. But yeah, I'm gonna do the first volume of Resurrection Man because
Yeah.
I still have never talked about that past the first issue.
I finally figured out what I'm doing. I've been like going back and forth. I had no idea what I was gonna pick next, but I
Ooh, I'm
finally
excited to
landed on
find out.
something. Hmm.
So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. I am gonna bring back the Comic Vault tomorrow. Or Comic Vault, pardon me. Comic Late Night tomorrow night. So there will be some more comic stuff. It just won't be a big vault with me and Austin. Uh,
Hmm.
Chris is going to be here tomorrow night. We're going to cover the first volume of Jeff Johns' Geiger. Somebody asked us for that, and
A lot of toxicity this week.
I know. And that book's been apparently doing really well, at least critically. People seem to really like that book, and it's on another volume already. So the
Mhm.
numbering right now is a reset. That goes back to 21. So if you see it in your comic shops right now, it's on issue like 9 or 10 or something. There's a whole volume before that,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
or whatever numbering they're on. Maybe it's even a little bit earlier than that. I forget. But yeah, because knowing this is coming up, I found a Geiger issue 1 for half cover, and I picked it up, not realizing that that's the second volume.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay. Yeah, I thought this was like a newer thing that he
It,
was just
it
putting out.
is. It only goes to 21, but apparently Image is doing some of the same crap the Big Two do, where they're restarting numbers just to get people more interested. Now, that might not be fair. I don't know if Johns is doing his own imprint there, and of course, he'd have enough control over his own stuff that he probably gets to decide if the numbers continue or reset, but... So that might
Well,
just be
that was
Johns
what.
being DC. I don't know.
Well, that was what I thought. Like, I thought it was a newer thing because he just got like an imprint at Image, and he launched a couple books, and that was the first one. So now I'm wondering, like, if that was maybe like another, like a creator-owned thing he did before, and was like, I'm gonna go
Well,
back to
no,
this.
but like I said, it's only 4 years old. Like the first volume of Geiger starts in 21. But that's what I'm saying. They've already
Okay.
renumbered since then.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking it was only like 2023.
Oh, I see. No, it
But
goes back to
okay.
21. So that
Oh,
would have
okay. I mean,
been
I could just have my dates all
during COVID.
in a muddle.
But it's not crazy to think that Jeff Johns has had his own imprint there for 4 years.
No, not really.
Anyway, people are dropping like flies. Nobody cares about
Yeah.
talking about comics right now. Thank you guys for watching. We sure appreciate it, and hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again real soon for more fun stuff here this week on Geekvolution. I also want to thank everybody that watched Superhero Rewind the movie last week. We've had a lot of people checking that out. The comments have been really complimentary, and I really appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to be putting out special features for that over the coming days and weeks. I put out the score today, so you can listen to all the music from the film Unfettered, and check that out because there's a lot of really cool references to different superhero movies, scores in that, and Wendell did an amazing job, and it's one of the best things about the movie. So listen to that on its own; it's worth it.
Hmm. Exactly.
And now we bid you farewell. Thanks for watching. I was Captain Logan. This was Austin the Day Ghost.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, folks.